Hey everyone! So today I have a very special episode. Right now I'm at the Irvine Inline Rinks, and today I'm going to be participating in what is known as blind hockey. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm going to be participating in blind hockey. So the reason this is so near and dear to my heart is because as an optometrist, I've always wanted to be able to help the world literally see that it is so important, our eyes and our visual system, how that really does impact a person's confidence, the way a person navigates around in the world. And the reason I'm participating in this today is because it's going to show the general public that when you can't see, it's a very big issue. As you may or may not know, the stats on visual impairment, well, let's just say that 1.1 million Americans are legally blind and 4.3 million Americans are visually impaired. So, what does legally blind mean? Well, there's two criteria that can define you as legally blind. The first criteria is that the patient cannot read any letters on the 20/100 line in the better seeing eye. And generally 20/20 is standard. We're talking about 20/100 in the better seeing eye, which means that the other eye could see worse. Another criteria to be defined as legally blind is that the patient's visual field, or in other words, the way in which the person views the peripheral vision, is 20 degrees or less in the better seeing eye again. Once again, it's in the better seeing eye. So can you imagine what it would be like to even be legally blind? Not only can you not really see very far or even that up close, but your visual field is constricted more and more and more and more. And keep in mind, guys, that this is in your better seeing eye. So to give an example, literally, can you imagine living your world like this where everything's pretty much dark? So being legally blind, you could have problems in your central vision or your peripheral vision or just general blur. And there are a lot of symptoms associated with this. But right now I'm going to go ahead and head in to participate with the hockey team right now. And then I'll come back later and then I'll explain a little bit more about some of the symptoms that you might experience if you were to be legally blind. So let's go ahead and head on in, and I'll catch you guys later. Alright, bye! I'm at the Irvine Rinks here, ready to head on in and participate in blind hockey. So yes, this will be a very exciting experience today. So hope you guys enjoy! Hi, I'm signing in for the blind hockey event.
Blind hockey?
Yes.
What's the name?
Last name?
I'm DJ, by the way.
DJ, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That should work.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and it'll be left hand on top.
Okay, cool. So you,
And everyone is back there, like getting on the rink. Getting acquainted.
okay, thank you. Guys, so I just got my rack, hockey stick, and I'm heading to meet the other players. And like I said, this is really exciting because some of them are actually legally blind, and we're going to be partnering up with them to play some hockey. So such a beautiful place here, and there's so many different rinks here, as you guys can see, and I'm gonna go up and meet up with them right now. Playing blind hockey right now. It's just practice session, and as you guys can see, that this puck here has a little fell inside of it, and that's to be able to let the players know where the ball is, to be able to use their ears to listen to where the ball is, to be able to figure it out without really being able to see where it is. And there's also different types of pucks. Some of them are larger, like over there. It has a louder sound there. So different levels. And I also heard that in order to be a hockey goalie for blind hockey, you have to be completely blind. So it's all based off of the ear and vibrations of the sound. Pretty cool, huh, guys?
Wait for that ball to hit the stick. That way we know it's there. Then we're going to do the same thing going back.
Hey everyone! I just got done with playing blind hockey, and oh my gosh, what an experience. I got to meet so many wonderful people on the field today, and they all had different stories of how they became visually impaired or legally blind. But they are so great people. They're doing wonderfully well, and it's so great to see their enthusiasm for life. I think that is so amazing, to be really able to enjoy life for what it is, appreciate life, live in the moment, and just be grateful for what you have. So these people were so great, and I'm so thankful to be able to have this experience to participate in blind hockey. So let me catch my breath for a little bit, because we did a little scrimmage in the end. But I just wanted to come back to you guys, because I did promise you guys I would talk a little bit about some of the symptoms that you might experience if you are visually impaired. So the three major symptoms, like I had discussed earlier, is that one, you could have central vision loss, two, you could have peripheral vision loss, or three, you could have just general blur. So how can you develop these symptoms? Sometimes it's genetics, sometimes it could be from like cerebrovascular accidents. So it's so important to really be able to just appreciate what we have in our lives, and our ability to be able to see, because if you think about it, you know, our five senses are really, really important, but we take it so much for granted. But the moment you don't have one of those things, it really just truly shows you how much we take things for granted. So the first symptom that I want to talk about is central vision loss. And generally when that occurs, it's usually through like a macular disease. And when I mean by macular disease, I'm talking about the macula, which is the central portion of your eye. Or I guess what I should say is it controls the central portion of your central vision. So when that starts to slowly fade away, generally people will start to have difficulty with near tasks, reading signs like stop signs, any type of traffic signs, or even recognizing faces. Because if you can imagine, like if my central vision was completely covered like this, it would be difficult for me to just look at your face. So with generally with these kind of conditions, we would have to train the patient to view peripherally, otherwise known as eccentric viewing, to kind of use their outside peripheral vision to kind of, you know, be able to tell faces, street signs, what have you. And you can also imagine that these patients would also have a hard time with contrast. So let's go on and talk about peripheral vision for a little bit. So one of the bigger symptoms, or I guess one of the major causes of peripheral vision loss that people could develop are through glaucoma, for example, or through like a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. Those are like generally the bigger causes of peripheral vision loss. And with these kind of patients, sometimes you could also develop this from, like I said earlier, having a cerebrovascular accident. So, and that means that you could have like just one side of your body, you could just like have visual neglect or not be able to see one side of the body. So there's a lot of problems here as well. And as you can probably imagine, we would have to train patients here with mobility and just being able to orient themselves in the world. Because if you kind of lose track of the peripheral vision, you only have this much vision, say, you kind of just have to learn to navigate around the world with that limited field of view. And then the last thing I want to talk about is just general blur. So if you can imagine, let's say these patients might develop like cataracts, or if there's like a corneal scar, for example, you'll have this generalized blur. So kind of, I'm trying to like show and demonstrate, not necessarily like this, but similar, where you kind of can see things, but it's a little bit blurry here. So these patients will have blur at both distance and up close, near. They will also have issues with contrast sensitivity and glare. So these patients would have to probably require magnification and proper illumination, and also glare control. And most likely some low vision devices, we will probably give them some contrast enhancements to help them be able to, distinguish different contrasts. So yeah, I just want to do a quick little, summary of the 3 major visual losses and how they could, manifest themselves. But yeah, I'm just glad that you guys were able to join me today with my blind hockey experience, and I hope all you guys now have a better appreciation of the visual system and really understand and realize how grateful we are to have what we do have in our lives. So everyone, if you're watching this video, be so grateful that you have a wonderful life ahead of you. So go out there and do great things, okay? So thanks for tuning in to watch another episode, and until next time, I'll catch you guys on another adventure. Bye! Have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. Mwah! Love you guys. Bye!